What is up, everybody? I'm Adam, joined by Charlie. Welcome to the Sizzlin NFL DFS podcast, Super Bowl edition.
Big
What are
game.
we, Super Bowl 58 now?
Big game. It's the big game.
The big game. Charlie, how are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good.
Love
Yeah, man. It's the weekend, man. We're gonna settle the NFL championship. I'm excited about that because I just love this weekend. I'm not that thrilled about the matchup, honestly.
Nope.
I think, like most of us, I was just kind of pulling for the Detroit Darlings there, but it didn't happen.
I was.
Yeah. But
I was pulling for Detroit, but you know what?
And I'm a little tired of seeing Mahomes in it.
You know what I might do, because we're having a little fun with Detroit. Maybe at the end of this, I do a little NFL mock draft for the Lions. How about that? Tell them how they can improve their defense. So stick around later at the end of that. But you all are here for one reason and one reason only. It's time to win some money this weekend, the big game. We're going to start off with DraftKings. Then we're going to head over to talk about some props.
Absolutely.
We can't say Super Bowl anymore, Charlie. What is this? What is this, draft day?
No, I don't think so. On radio.
Sorry. What?
Like, okay, when I was on radio, right? Unless you pay the NFL, you can't actually use that term. I don't know if that applies to this, but I think that it does. I'm real with you. They'll like charge you for it. Like
people say that all the time, though. Interesting.
Where do you actually hear on like radio or TV where it's not a sponsorship?
I don't know. It's actually not a bad thing to I don't know.
I'm just saying. I'd rather err on the side of caution.
Fine. We're talking about the big game 58. Sounds even stupid. Super Bowl 58, San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not paying for it, Charlie. I don't care. It's not coming out of my pocket. I just work for the company. Sorry, Aaron. Anyway, San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the matchup we wanted. I would have loved to see the Ravens versus the 49ers, but the Ravens laid a massive egg and or turd in the middle of the field. Okay, they laid an egg, not a turd. They laid an egg. I have no idea what the heck happened to them. And this kind of goes back to they need wide receiver help. Give Beckham credit. He looked solid. Flowers and Andrews and Likely cannot be asked to do everything. They just can't. But you know what? We're not even going to call it the Super Bowl anymore. You know what we're going to call it? The Taylor Swift Bowl.
I like it.
Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce Bowl. I'm sure we get some freaking weird props out there.
The Swifty Bowl.
Oh, boy. So, anyway, here we go. Super Bowl 58. The San Francisco 49ers take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are lucky to get here, in my opinion. The Ravens are the best team in the AFC. Bills made a strong case towards the end, but the Chiefs got here, and the Niners have just been absolutely outstanding. They deserve to win that game. I give Purdy a lot more credit, but now it's going to be up to Purdy to prove it that he can win on the biggest stage in the NFL. And let's see if he can do it. He's got the things around. He's got the weapons around him. He's got the coach around him. Let's get right into it here on DraftKings. Charlie, to nobody's surprise, Christian McCaffrey's the highest priced player on the week. $12,000 for Christian McCaffrey. Let me just make sure Taylor Swift isn't down here at 200. No,
dude, that pricing is crazy, especially when you compare it to Pacheco. Like,
yep.
For this game, for the purposes of this game,
it's a huge difference.
That $4,000 difference blows my mind.
It really does.
It should be like 2. But
so here's the thing of it, Charlie. Christian McCaffrey, and hear me out on this, he's going to be highly owned and rightfully so. I think that if you're targeting McCaffrey, I think he's going to be used as Purdy's safety blanket. I don't think it can be understated. This is the biggest game of Brock Purdy's career. And Brock Purdy, yes, he came back and showed this poise last week. That was against the Lions secondary. He still did it. But I think Purdy is going to do some checkdowns to McCaffrey. And I think McCaffrey could get there based on short yardage passes alone or dump offs. What do you think about that line of thinking compared to it's Christian McCaffrey, you play him? Like, we have to think about, you got to bring in game script into this. It's a showdown. It's the big game. You have to bring in how you think game script is going to go.
I might have kind of a hot take on this because as I've been like building my lineups and stuff, I like, because, okay, my feeling is that everybody's going to, a lot of people are going to use McCaffrey as the captain. And I think that that's where we need to pivot. And this is why, because I feel like the Niners are going to, or the Chiefs are going to lock in on McCaffrey because they have two like really, really good pass defenders, right? That they can just let loose out there on Ayuk and Debo. And so where the Chiefs defense is weak, if at all, it would be against McCaffrey and the run. They're worse against the run than they are. They're like middle of the pack, though they've been much better in the playoffs. They're like middle of the pack as where they're top 5 against pass. So, which they're 5 in San Francisco's 4 for anybody who's been like keeping tabs, by most of the metrics at least. So, I feel like with Andy Reid, they're going to game plan more for McCaffrey and try to make Purdy beat them against those great corners. So I am not going to be surprised if for fantasy purposes, Pacheco actually has the bigger game. So I like the way you're the process behind it, but I feel differently about the game plan.
And again, completely fine, right? Like I'm saying, like when you're talking about the highest priced player on the slate, we've never broken down McCaffrey in this much detail. It's McCaffrey. If you can get him, you play him. Is he in a good matchup? He's matchup proof. You play him, right? Like we haven't really had to break down McCaffrey. I feel like all season. $12,000 is a lot to ask for, because the players right below him, I think I want more. I'd rather Mahomes. I'd rather Kelsey. I'd way much rather captain Kelsey than I would McCaffrey.
Yeah,
because we know the Niners.
I would rather do Pacheco.
Yeah,
Kelsey or Pacheco.
Where have the Niners struggled? Where have the Niners struggled this year? It's versus the tight end.
Well, and so here's the deal.
At least I feel like that anyway.
So, like, I think in the regular season they were holding running backs to around like 90-something yards or something like that, right around the century mark. But in the playoffs, in those 2 games, they've allowed like 160 rushing yards and stuff. And so the thing about San Francisco, when we're talking about their defense, they're really good against the pass. They're decent against the tight end, but that's probably one of their weakest marks, especially here lately. But their run has been given up. And the thing about it is that you have to look at the level of offenses that they've played as well, because some of their games are a little bit skewed because of some bad defense or some bad offenses as well. And if you look at the marks where they've played a really solid offenses, they've given up a bit. They've looked a little worse against the run than against the pass or the tight end. So, like, for me, I don't know, man. This is so
it's
crazy.
Tough, isn't it?
There's only 2 teams,
tough.
And it's like, I really think you got to pivot from McCaffrey being in the captain seat. And Kelsey, the last time he went up against San Francisco, had like 98 yards. He had a good game. Matter of fact, both of the tight ends, Kittle and Kelsey, had really good games in the last matchups for these two teams.
Kittle's way too cheap.
Which one of those was a Super Bowl, right? So, there's an argument to be made for Kelsey, but I just keep looking at these defenses, and I think about it all the time. How like defense wins championships. I've believed in that my whole life. I've been taught that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I kind of look at where they're at right now, and they're giving up. They've given up a lot rushing and not nearly as much in the middle of the field as we thought, or on the outside. So I don't know, man. I feel like Pacheco, at 8,000 is a really good pick. Kelsey at 10-2 is a really good pick.
Yep.
Mahomes, it's like if you put McCaffrey in there, you're only going to have enough money to get probably one of those other guys.
See, that's the thing.
Whereas you really might be able to get three. Like if you're looking at look like Rashid Rice, Pacheco, and you could probably get Mahomes and Kelsey, and you can find someone way down the line that'll make it work. And it's $2,000 more is going to make that a lot harder to do.
Yeah, so we think about it, right? We got McCaffrey up top. I'd much rather captain a Kelsey. I'd rather captain Debo. I'd rather captain Ayuk. I'd rather captain Kittle or Rice than I would take a shot on captaining McCaffrey. And that's just a stance that I'm going to take. Or like, I will take that stance. But let's quickly get through this because, for Super Bowl Sunday, let's talk about it. There's a lot of props and picks out there that we should get into. So Mahomes, Kelsey, Purdy, Debo, Ayuk, Pacheco, Rice, Kittle are all guys you want exposure to. Let's make this a little bit more fun. Kickers, obviously, you want exposure to. The defenses, sure. What about the ancillary pieces here, Charlie? A Jawan Jennings at 4K. MVS is 3K. Are you taking a shot on an Elijah Mitchell at 2,800? A Justin Watson at 24? Sky Moore's been activated off IR. Kadarius Toney off IR.
I'm not touching Toney. Those first two guys that you mentioned, definitely, though. MVS and Jennings, I like a lot. I like some prop stuff on those guys too for the big game as well. Somewhere down the line, man, like we'll see. He's sick right now, I guess, so we'll see. But like I might take a stab at CEH. If I need to make it work, and if I can get the rest of the money guys in there. Because I spend $1,200 on somebody, I'm really, really cool with that. So
I'd rather go 800. I'd rather go 400 down.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Kyle
800.
Juszczyk.
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk can go off in a showdown.
He could get a touchdown. I'll probably use him somewhere. I mean, look, here's the thing about this. It's a dart throw. It really is. So I'm going to build the guys that I want, and then see what I have left and just throw the dart down there.
Yep. Sounds good to me. So you're going to mix and match your low-owned play guys.
But not Toney.
I'm not playing Toney.
Don't play
Toney. Could they have something crazy for him in the big game? Sure. But he's been clearly on the outside looking in. He's not materialized. He did good originally when he came into this offense. The injuries have really derailed, I feel like, his early playing career. And yeah, so that's that. Let's get to some of the fun stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm over on Prize Picks today. And if you get in there now, Mahomes, up until Super Bowl Sunday, they have him at a half a passing yard. So just smash the over on that, more or less, however they have it now.
That makes me that upsets me because I've put some work into this passing yards Mahomes prop for the Super Bowl that sits around 260, and I really, really think it's going to be under.
You're more than welcome to take some of these other ones. His regular and non-boosted one is 264.5.
Yeah, he's only gone past that once in the last 5 games.
Ooh. So you would take the under.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
He's not having a huge passing season. I mean, look, Kelsey could get 150 yards and Rashid Rice could get another 85 and he still won't hit it.
Interesting. Yeah,
cool. I really like the under on this for Mahomes. I really do. It's actually one of my – look, I've got that on Sleeper. That's one of my Sleeper props this week.
So we're going to be using both sites. I'm screen sharing here on Prize Picks. Charlie's also going to be talking about sleeper props. So we're going to be talking about both. You get sleeper, you get underdog. So Charlie will mention any of the sites that his stuff's going to. Mine's going to come straight from Prize Picks. So we just want to make the distinction early. So that's the passing yards. What do you think about Purdy's 248.5? I feel like that's a trap.
Yeah, so I am not going. I'm not taking any prop picks for Purdy.
I agree.
Prop picks for Purdy.
I think he's actually a little bit less than this. I actually like about 230 for Purdy.
Yeah, the only I will tell you one. The only prop pick that I'm taking is if you can get him for over half of an interception, he's throwing a pick.
Possible. Well, let's get into that. Let's say, where are the interceptions? Because Prize Picks, you see all the stuff they have over here. There's so much. So let's take a look at it. So
they're scared.
Purdy's not on here. The only one on here is Mahomes. Over under a half.
See, Prize Picks knows he's throwing a pick.
Prize Picks is good, but yeah, If you can get Purdy over a half an interception, I'm fine with that. Now, this is an interesting one. Mahomes and Purdy, the line of interceptions is at 1.5 between both. Do you think
hold on. So
both just could throw a pick?
Just so you know, Sleeper does have Purdy at half an interception.
Take the over.
So definitely, take the over on that if you're building your prop list. So if Sleeper has it, Underdog probably has it at that same too.
Cool.
The over, it's only a 1.7 multiplier, but still you're gonna have some of those anyhow. So, all right. So both of them throwing a pick.
Possible. I mean, it's a combo pick.
Possible. It's possible. So, like, I think of that. If I was making like a money bet, I might take that because I'd say that the odds are probably pretty good on it. Like, I mean, if you're making like 130 or so, 140 to 1, then I'd be cool with that. I imagine that it's probably somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. On this, like, I don't know, because there's a good
you don't have to do the combo one. Like, I think it would be at 1. I think Purdy throws a pick early, gets it out of his system, and then locks in the rest of the game and leads the 49ers to victory.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Mahomes may or may not. I'm not confident that Mahomes will throw a pick.
Yeah,
because I don't think he's going to throw it a ton down the field. I don't think he's going to have. They're going to put him in. I mean, he always got some of those erratic throws that he has, but he seems to make those a lot. So I don't know, man.
I tell you, some picks I do like though is in the receiving yards for Prize Picks. Travis Kelce right now again. So this is Friday night. You all are that we're doing this live. He's at Kelce 73.5 receiving yards. Seems trappy. I'm taking the over. George Kittle's though, 50.5 is not high enough.
I have taken this over already.
I'm smashing the over on that. That's too low.
Absolutely. So
here are some interesting ones for you.
I love Kittle anytime touchdown.
Who?
That's a good one. Kittle anytime touchdown. I think is a
Kittle anytime touchdown. Okay.
Yep. But I'm with you. His yardage and Rashid Rice's yardage are both, I believe, set way too low.
Rice, I think, is a little high. I think Rice comes in about 50 yards.
I think he's going to come in around 80.
Okay. Cool. So here are some interesting ones. I like Debo's line at 59.5. We know Debo can run. This is a receiving prop. I feel like that's right about where he may end up.
I think it's, let's see, where are we at? Yeah, sleeper underdog got it at 58.5. That must be the going rate. That's not bad. I like the over on that one. I'm with you on that.
Yep. I don't like a lot of these other receiving yards one. Can we just get to some of the fun ones?
Absolutely.
Sacks. Let's get to some sacks. Nick Bosa, 0.25 sacks. Do you think Nick Bosa has a half a sack or a full sack or none in this game?
Oh, man. Kansas City's got a hell of a line.
They both do.
Yeah, man. Just so many games and one in the trenches. I don't know. I know who on here I may take for a sack.
Who you got?
I might take Chase Young for a sack.
You think he's finally going to show up?
It seems like if he was going to, it might be this. And I think that the money'd probably pay off better. Fair. I mean, it's look, Nick Bosa over 0.25 is probably a decent bet, but I feel like I don't know. It's probably not that great of a money bet.
Nope.
What's the multiplier on that? Where is it?
It's just regular.
Yeah. So that's the regular thing.
So, and again, that's completely fine. Charlie, what else you got on your list here?
Man, so I got some others. So let me grab some of the good ones here. So so I will. There is a Brock Purdy line that's a good one.
Okay.
Look, he's going to have to scramble a couple of times, and his rushing yards are at 12.5. I like the over on that because I think it's easy to think he's going to have at least 15 rushing yards. But a prop, and everywhere that I've looked, I've seen it at 1.5 receptions. I like Juwan Jennings to get at least 2 catches. I really do.
Okay.
Because you got to think. I mean, look, the focus is going to be on Debo and Ayuk. You know what I mean? So It's like, and here's the thing. Juwan Jennings has actually gotten, multiple games where he's had at least 2 catches. So I think that's a really good over. The odds and everything on it and multipliers and stuff that I've seen are all pretty even, like 1.8. So I think that like on bet that's like 130 or so, 140. But and then also MVS everywhere that I'm looking, just like you've got it up right there, 1.5 catches. Fun fact about MVS, he has been the first read 13% of their offensive plays. If he's the first read on 13% of their offensive plays, 10 to 13% of their offensive plays in this game, he's probably going to have 2 catches or more.
It's possible.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that I really, really like that. I like both of those a lot. They're 2 of my favorites. Pacheco's rushing yards are sitting around 67, 68 on most sites. I really, really like the over on that. I think is a really good one. That to me is almost that, and Juwan Jennings to get 2 catches, I think are almost locks.
Cool.
Really do.
All right, let's take a look here. Another interesting category, tackles and assists. I think is pretty interesting. Willie Gay, 4.5 tackles and assists. L'Jarius Sneed, 4.5 tackles and assists.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that seems too low for Sneed.
Right? Like, I like to take the over on that.
I'll take the over on that one.
I'm disappointed at 8.5 for Fred Warner, though.
That's right about where he's probably going to be. I take the under on Nick Bolton.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the under on that, too.
Willie Gay and Nick Bolton, I feel like split time, but I can't say that for certain. Like, that just might be the starting trio, Gay, Bolton, and Warner. I don't know, man. Like, Jair Brown, 6. Like, I think Warner's as good at the under on Bolton and the over on Snead. I think Snead's too low with how much he's going to be targeted against.
What are you taking on Warner? I at 8.5, I think I have to go under, but
I think I'm pushing and leaving it alone.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really don't like that number. If it was 7 or if it was 9, I'd feel so much better.
Agreed, but they'd pin that right because I do think Fred Warner is right in that 8 range.
Yeah.
And look, Nick Bolton, he's really good.
Fun out of it, guys.
Like Nick Bolton's really good, but like 9 tackles.
Yeah, that's I don't think so.
Now again, tackles and assists. Again, this is a tackles and assists category. I still think it's a little high for Nick Bolton.
I like, you know what? The Armstead could be cool too. What was that at 2.5?
Eric Armstead, 2.5 tackles and assists.
See, I could take over on that.
I agree. Like some of these are just
good.
We don't really know how it's going to play, right? Like completion percentage, I'm not touching. Tackles for loss, I'm not really touching that at all. Because a lot of that stuff is just, those weird plays that can get away from you. You want to have a little bit of fun? Receiving yards in first 2 receptions.
That's great. All right. What do we got? So in the first
McCaffrey, 15.5.
15.5. Yeah, I like the over on that.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Because we know McCaffrey, if he catches it in space, he puts the afterburners on and he can get a couple extra yards.
Yeah, man. If he breaks one tackle on one of them, he's coming close.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, then on his second, man, I mean, I like that one a lot. I like the over on that a lot.
What do you think? So, like, Ayuk 24.5, I think I'd have to take the over if I really want to, kind of punt this out there. But, like, the tight ends, man. Kittle 20.5 and Kelsey 21.5. I think that's right.
I take the under on Kittle.
Okay.
I would. In the Kelsey one, I'm probably not going to.
I would stay away from it. It's a good line.
Yeah, that's not what I'm going to use. I like the Debo one. I like the over on the Debo one. I like the over on the Rice. I don't know. Ayuk, I might take the under on his first 2 catches. Sometimes he
one of those
takes a little
burners
to warm up, though.
True. All right. Before we get into pass deflections, which I think is pretty interesting. Again, I want to have some fun with some of these, not just the standard one. Let's go to some of the fun categories. Charlie, what else you got from us from sleeper or underdog?
From sleeper, all right. So, okay. So here's one that I like. All right. So when you're building your lineups, because like sleeper and underdog and all, you got to have multiple props in it. And I like to get some with a good multiplier. So I really like Rashid Rice is at 2.13 for his anytime touchdown.
Ooh.
I really like that one a lot.
I like that one.
I have one that lineup that I made that's seriously like it's 7. I've got 7 props in it, but if it pays off, I'm getting like I just did this one for like $1. If it pays off, I get like $83 on it. So, I won't be mad about that at all. I like, I figured for the big, for the big game that I just put together like a really long one for like $1, see what happens. But I threw that one in there. I really like that one a lot. And then for whatever reason, man, Kelsey, one that I like is, you can do the fantasy points, and his is set at 19.6. And he has gotten, I really like the over on that because in the last last 2 games, he's been in 24 or more.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a real focus in the playoffs. So I really like that one. And Kittle, man, at 2.46 on the multiplier, I like his anytime touchdown a lot too.
Some of these anytime touchdowns, if you can hit them correctly. And so, like, people might be wondering, it's like, why are we not talking about sports betting? One, sports betting is not legal in every state. We know DFS isn't either. We know picking isn't either, right? But like DraftKings can be accessible to a lot of people. Prize Picks is accessible to a lot of people. Sports betting was just allowed where I live about a year or 2 ago, right?
Like we're getting there down here,
right? Like it's starting to get out there. If you're interested on some sports betting and you have questions, hit either of us up on Twitter. I'm at WXFan21. Charlie, you go to Twitter?
Oh, yeah, FF Toilet Ninja.
There you go. Like, if you have questions on any kind of sports betting lines, again, just hit us up. I'm at at WXFan21. Charlie's at FF Toilet Ninja. We'd be happy to help answer one. Charlie, before you get to the fun ones, so I know you are really excited about some of these.
I know, I've got my party props list right here.
We'll get to the party props later. Let's finish up here on Prize Picks. We'll finish up your picks as well. And then I want to get into a little NFL draft because you and I were really rooting for the Lions. So as a little bonus to those of you that are going to stay here to the end, we're going to talk a little NFL draft. I'm going to go through a mock Lions draft. We'll talk about it. I'm still doing my research on all the prospects. So pass deflections, Charlie. I just think this is kind of funny. Where is Chris Jones when I want him on here?
Oh, my goodness.
If you can find a Chris Jones over a half a pass deflection, give me a Chris Jones over a half.
Let me see if he is. Let's see here.
While Charlie looks that up, one of these things.
Nope, they don't have it on Sleeper either. All you got is 0.5 sacks.
And again, like, that's fine. Charlie, one thing that stands out here, Charvarius Ward, 1 full pass deflection.
Wow.
There's no half.
Huh. Man.
I would take the over on Snead.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd take the over on McDuffie.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I love the over on McDuffie.
Like, when I think pass deflections, Chris Jones comes to mind, his hands up here, and it just seems like an ESPN highlight, right? Like, he just gets his hand up and just whacks the ball down.
Yeah, but Warner's the kind of guy that can get his hand on the ball right before it gets into the receiver's hand.
So you like the over half a pass deflection?
Yeah, so I think that exactly. I do, because I think Warner's going to have a big game. I think if San Francisco wins, that guy's actually going to maybe be their saving grace.
There you go.
But that's just how I view how games are won. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not all about the offense. People think it is, and it's not. So much goes into winning a game.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's have a little fun. Charlie, what other props you got left on your sheet? You had a ton coming into today. I'm going to fire up the PFF mock draft tracker here.
It's tiny little print, so I got to take the glasses off because I'm old. All right, so
21 years old over here is old.
I'm going to start off with one of the first ones that, you know, everybody, the length of the national anthem. I love this. I love this bet, man. If I could have been, I'd been betting on this bet for years. But not only that, it's Reba, okay? It's Reba. And when I was younger, I would, you know, she was in the movie Little Rascals, and she was in a driver's suit, a race suit, man. When I was younger, that was like the hottest thing to me. I swear, I'd tell people I was going to grow up marry Reba. Like, for real, man. Reba's awesome. and stuff. So I've gone and watched videos of her singing the national anthem at sporting events. They go back to like, I think it was seriously the oldest one was like 1986. And she is always somewhere between like a minute 16 and about a minute 22, usually around minute 16, minute 18. Everywhere the over-under on this is falling somewhere around 89.5. Some sites have got it. Some bookies have got it at like 90.5. Some, I think, at 89. But it's all right around there. And I know it's the big stage. And when I started thinking about it at first, I was like, you know what? They come out. They want to show out, you know. But Reba doesn't really stretch her voice. She doesn't really. That's not really her style. I think even when like she sang in the World Series, it was right around a minute and 20. So I feel like she's coming in at the under. So this year, I want to take the under. If she does, it will be one of the shortest anthems ever sung at the Super Bowl. But I think she's going to do it. I think she's going to stay true to Reba.
And so you're taking coin toss over or under.
So I'm the under. If you at 90.5 is where it's at. Some places 89.5. I'm in the under. Even at 89, I'm still on the under. The coin toss, that's always a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's 50-50, except for tails has come up 7 out of the last 10 Super Bowls. Just that's, something to think about.
Charlie,
I'm taking tails.
What's the kind of funny saying? Tails never fails, or whatever crazy saying that is.
Oh, there's something like that, I'm sure. Hey, look, from what I've observed, tails wins more. So
there you go.
I'm taking tails. I'm always taking tails on that.
Go for it. What are the props and picks you got for us, Charlie?
Oh man, so the game total, I think we're at 47.5, somewhere right around there. I like the over just a smudge on that.
Interesting.
Well, it's only because of what I think the final is, but I'll tell you this, it's close, so I'm probably staying away from that one. Here's another really fun one. First offensive play of the game.
Oh boy.
Runner or pass. Now the odds will vary from site to site on this, but I think it's going to be a run. But honestly, right now, both of the, two on each team, their best weapon for this game is probably the running back. So I think that the run is going to be the good bet there. Some of these that you can find. I got one. Will there be a score in the first 6 minutes and 59 seconds of the game?
What the heck?
Yes, there will. This is a legitimate bet.
What?
Man. Yes, dude. Hey, look, you want to know what? You want to know who I'm taking for the bet on? Will Usher have somebody come along with him? Luda. Usher and Luda, they're buddies, man. They're like neighbors out here in Atlanta, man. And Usher's pretty much irrelevant. I don't have any idea why he is actually doing the halftime show, but everybody loves
Taylor
Luda.
Swift is going to be in the box.
It's all right. Everybody loves Luda.
I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding.
Hey, the odds out there, Luda's got odds out there. Little John does as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll take either one of those.
How long did you take finding some of these weird props?
Oh, dude, there's all kinds of props on this game. Jersey number of the first touchdown scorer, odd or even. Taking the odds. Always go with odds. Yeah, I love it. All right. Who will the first accepted penalty be against? Niners or the Chiefs? I think it's going to be the Niners.
I agree.
Yeah. Dude, there's all kinds of stuff, man. And then, all right, so if another halftime one. If you're going to take the bet on Usher's first song, I am going with it's not going to be Yeah. That's what I'm taking on that. You can bet that one. That one's out there. And then, of course, one of the ones I think we all love. What color is the Gatorade going to be?
Oh, there it is. The famous one.
Dice with orange. You know why? It's got to be either orange or red. Both the teams are wearing red. And yeah, I think they want that to live. They don't want to be pouring blue or purple
on any of that,
red
yeah.
or orange or red or red. You know what I mean? So I'm taking it with orange because everybody loves the orange. I'm not a big fan of the red either. I never really liked the fruit punch Gatorade that much. To me, out of the original like 3 or 4 flavors, that was the worst one.
So are you going with orange or red?
I am going with orange.
All right, orange
it is.
All right.
Orange
anything else that you want to get into prop wise?
Man, there's so many of them out there. Just have fun with it. You guys can hit me up. If you've got any more crazy ones, I've looked at a bunch of them. I mean, I could go on and on about the different bets that you can make on this game. How many times are they gonna show Taylor Swift? I don't know what the over under is on that, but I guarantee you that is a bet. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
All right. So, any last props you really want to share and get out there? Or have you said you made your ones?
Just have fun with it.
I was just going to say, go have fun.
I think there's there's one more. All right,
go ahead.
First score, field goal or a touchdown?
Field goal.
So, what do you think happens more?
Field goal. They're two really good defenses.
It's tied. It's like so here's the deal. There's been 3 safeties, and I think into 27 of each. Or whatever.
I'm just going with it. I would go with a field goal again based on how good the defenses are. I would just say someone's going to get a field goal first.
All right. I am with you.
What do you think? Field goal? All right.
Field goal. Yep.
Let's get it. Let's have a little bit of fun here. We're at the end of it. Thank you all for tuning in and watching this season for the DFS portion. For those of you that want to stick around, we talked about it. We came in rooting for the Lions. They beat the Rams. I had the Rams beating the Lions, Charlie. The Lions.
I had Detroit going all the way.
There you go. I want to see what this would look like for the Lions. I've done this enough. This is Pro Football Focus's mock draft simulator. I've done a lot of these for the Patriots, but for the sake of this, we're going to go with the Lions. I'm going to put the speed at fast, and this is all default. So you can do care for positional value, draft for needs, and add some randomness. Let's get into it. I'm not forcing any drafts. So let's just go ahead and start. Caleb Williams, Drake May, MHJ, no surprise. A lot of these things are going to change once we get to the Combine. We've had the Senior Bowl. We've had the Shrine Bowl. We've had a lot of these things. Ladd McConkey rose up because of the Senior Bowl. But let's take a look here. I'm actually going to zoom out just a little bit so I can see more of the players. Look, the Lions need secondary help.
I was to say,
And someone that may or may not be here is Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. If he's available down here for the Lions, I think that's a run the pick to the commissioner.
Here I take.
I mean, they don't need a quarterback. They've got Hooker as a backup. Lassiter, according to PFF scores, is good. 87.2 coverage grade, some good man. We know the Lions like to play man. Run defense isn't bad. Holds people to a 38.5% completion percentage. Lassiter could be a good pick here.
Yep.
I think it's a bit early for any safety. TJ Tampa, bad 2021, better 22 and 23. Has some good grades, not as good as Lassiter. Let's see. They could, and I'm just going to put this out there. I could see the Lions going Chop Robinson.
Yeah.
And and they could pair Chop Robinson, edge rusher out of Penn State. I mean, the scores kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see how he tests at the Combine in March. But you mean to tell me you're not going to be really happy with the Lions if you're not going to have Aiden Hutchinson on one side and Chop Robinson on the other? Oh, the edge rushers there. That'd be so much fun.
Look, and the Nittany Lions, they know defense. They know how to teach defense.
But for the sake of this mock draft, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to give them Kamari Lassiter from Georgia.
That's what I take, but I'm a dog.
Go dogs! Again, if Quinyon Mitchell is somehow there at the end, I think you run up Quinyon Mitchell. He's just an outstanding corner. So now, pick 61. J.J. McCarthy's still on the board here. They're not taking a quarterback. He'll be gone. I think Jeremiah Trotter's interesting. Edgerrin Cooper, I think, is interesting. Only one good year out of A&M, but the grades speak for themselves. I don't think they need Cooper. I don't think they need Trotter. Their linebackers are good. Kalen Bullock, safety. Not a good run defense grade if he's coming up to help defend against the run, but really good coverage. Forced incompletion. Let's see. He's played 12 games, 14 and 12. A lot of good tackles. Can play a lot of slot. Can go box. Can go deep. He's an interesting option here. According to PFF, they need help with the offensive line. I don't think they really need help with the offensive line at this point. Dominic Pooney, I think, had a really good showing at the Senior Bowl. He's going to start flying up boards in terms of ADP.
Yeah.
Javon Bulliard, solid safety. Much better coverage, forced incompletion. Why not go double dip here? Let's give him Javon Bulliard double dogs.
I mean, it almost worked for the Eagles.
There you go. The Georgia Eagles. So, but now we look at pick 73. And this is something the Lions need to keep in mind. They have 2 third-round picks and then no pick until round numbers 5. So they have no 4th. So these picks have to be their guys. And we saw it last year. They went with Gibbs, their guy. Laporta, their guy. Jack Campbell, their guy. They went with their guys last year, and it worked out for them. Roman Wilson, I don't think lasts here. I think Wilson is going to end up in the 2nd round somewhere. I don't think he's still here. Now,
if he's there, though, I think they'd take him.
I don't think they need him.
Yeah, they like to draft offense early, though.
But I don't think they need Roman Wilson here. They have Jamison Williams. Now, if they don't like Williams, they could go with Wilson. He was all over the place. He played in the slot. He played on the outside. He played wide. But he's more of a slot guy. They've already kind of got this really good slot guy. I don't know if you heard of him. He's called Amon-Ra St. Brown.
All hail the sun god.
But Roman Wilson's a good wide receiver. Brandon Dorless out of Oregon is just a solid defensive lineman all around. So they could go him here. Dwayne Carter out of Duke. Jalen McMillan, I think, is an interesting wide receiver choice.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Just in general. Again, another slot wide receiver. I'm going to do something fun. I don't know how this guy's going to test at the combine. I don't know much about him at all. And again, we don't have a lot of analysis on any of these guys yet. It's February. Javon Solomon. Look at the production he's had at Troy. 17 sacks this last season, 10 hits, 21 hurries. Year before that, 5 sacks, 7 hits. Not a good season for him. 10 sacks, 10 hits, 17 hurries, and 21. This guy can go. I'm going to give Detroit a compliment to Aiden Hutchinson here, and I'm going to give him Javon Solomon. Let's boost this to turbo. All right. Someone else that's going to start rising up boards is Spencer Rattler. Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. Again, another slot guy. Now, he doesn't have a good contested catch rate, but from a lot of what I've been hearing from like Kuiper and a lot of people think that Malachi Corley could be a good wide receiver. Right? Like Cooper Beebe, solid guard out of Kansas State.
That would make sense for Detroit for me.
I agree. Because BB has played tackle, then switched to guard, and has been moved around. So I think, should we go Cooper BB here?
I think so.
I agree. Gives them some depth on that offensive line. And like I said, they have no 4th-round picks. And they have to wait all the way to pick 166. So round 5. Look, this tight end class isn't the greatest, but they only need one. They drafted a really good tight end. Now, you can go...
Yes, that's exactly who I was looking at.
Isaiah Adams?
Yeah.
Tackle? Not the greatest grades, but again, it's round 5.
Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, he's got a couple of good marks. His zone grade's not bad.
Whoopsie. Yeah, Isaiah Adams. He's good. Solid. Let's see here. Who was some other ones? Kamal Haddon had a solid year. No touchdowns. Had 3 interceptions. Played corner, so maybe they could go there. Run defense isn't great. That man coverage grade is not the greatest. So, I mean, clearly Kamal is better at zone than man. So
no,
maybe
but you
not.
could take that and create a little competition at corner between some rookies. I like that. That's always good.
You could. Jalen Simpson, pretty solid. Again, like there's...
Yeah, he looked like he cleaned it up a lot more near the end of the season. So maybe there's room to grow there.
Maybe. I want some of those Mizzou guys. Oh, they're so good. So not the running backs or anything else. Detroit does not need a running back. Now, they
got 2 of them.
They need to think about taking a center. Frank Ragnow, it seems like they just drafted Frank Ragnow. But he's apparently been in the league like 9 years or whatever. I thought they just drafted him like 4 or 5 years ago. What would you do if you're the Lions here? We've only given them this point a corner and a safety. They need more help on that secondary. Are you going to take Kamal Haddon here and hopefully they can just mold him or put him in those zone schemes?
With what's on the board, I don't think that's bad. I like Isaiah Adams as well here, but I may go with the corner. Get yourself 2 young corners. See if you can improve.
There you go. So let's move on down. Pick 207. Andrew Coker does not have the best grades.
No.
I mean, Dylan McMahon out of North Carolina State, again, not the greatest. This is a player I really want to see where he goes. Isaiah Davis, running back out of South Dakota State. Do you see the amount of blue on this page?
Right? Wow.
Right?
Look, his grades by game is interesting, though, because it looks like those stats might be weighted a little bit. With some really good games.
It's not exactly like it's tough competition.
Is that against St. Louis or against Louisville?
I don't know who that is.
Is it?
I have no idea.
Oh man!
It looks like a mock. It looks like a weird Louisville logo.
Is that Yale down there? That 8-3?
No. I mean, Villanova's on here, but again, they're not known for their football program. You do have, I forget what university this is. No, that's not Memphis. I forget what this is, but Troy Anderson came out of this program, went to Atlanta. I just want to bring it up because I think he's interesting from whoever drafts him in the 6th round standpoint. Maybe he even goes higher. Let's see who else. Marcellus Dial out of South Carolina. Good man coverage grade here. Now, again, finding diamonds in the rough in the 6th and 7th round.
I don't know if I'd take another corner, though. If I'm doing in this draft.
It's not like they have a lot of good corners to begin with.
No, but it's good to build depth in other areas as well.
It's true. So let's see where else we can give him. Now, they don't have a lot of safeties. Jalen Green. Why did he sit out 2023?
Pull up that center. Who was that?
Dylan McMahon?
Yeah.
Not the greatest stats in the world.
No.
And recently, sorry, I didn't mean to get out of that. Recently only moved to center. Did play guard before, so he has versatility.
A little bit.
Now, he's played against, like, Connecticut. Let's see. Notre Dame. Not the best showing against Notre Dame. Miami. Not the greatest showing. Miami. Had a good showing at Wake Forest, at Virginia Tech. So, like, he's played some of that tougher competition, and it's not the greatest grades in the world.
Yeah. 58 grade against Miami, 54 against Clemson. Yeah. Maybe not. There's some tackles over here, too, though. Did we have, who else in there?
Coker, no.
Coker,
I mean, again, like.
Yeah, no, he's.
Nothing inspires a lot of confidence there.
No.
Let's see.
Maybe
Keith
Green.
Randolph,
Maybe Jalen Green.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't play in 2023, but that's why we get another safety here. We could go another linebacker, but no.
There you go.
You want to go him?
Let's see here. Grades aren't terrible. It's late in the draft. Yeah, why not? See what happens. Maybe get a spot guy, come in on third downs, make a difference or something.
Some linebacker depth. And the last pick 250. Roger Rosengarten, who is not going to last till the 7th. Solid grades. Why don't we take a tackle here?
Yeah, why not?
Rosengarten
at this point, you're really just taking best available, right?
Yeah. And again, like, we haven't had the combine yet. This all changes after the combine, after pro days. Are we going to B-? Not the greatest, but again, like,
it's not terrible. That'll get you into a decent school.
We're giving them secondary help, which they need. Cornerback, safety, cornerback. I did a mock draft where I gave them 3 corners and a safety. They need the help. Their weakest area was secondary. Now you get an edge rusher in Javon Solomon here in the 3rd to go along with Aiden Hutchinson, Cooper Beebe, and Roger Rosengarten to fill in and give some depth in the offensive line. Again, another corner and a linebacker. Not bad. Let's have a little bit of. I'm going to give a little bit of quick fun here. I'm going to do the Patriots real quick.
No, I'm out.
Gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hit the button. I'm not gonna torture him. I do think that the top of this draft, though, is gonna be really interesting. And you can do as many mock drafts as you want right now until the Bears decide what they're doing with Justin Fields. The top of the draft is completely open.
Yeah,
are they gonna stick
interesting?
Because if they keep Fields, they're either trading back from 1 and accumulating more picks and assets, or they trade Fields and take Caleb Williams 1. Really interesting.
Well, I'll be excited, man. Once this weekend's over, we'll start getting into all of that. It'll be cool, especially come March and all, see where the dominoes all fall, so to speak.
You got that right.
With Fields and everything. Right now, see, because what I'm going to do now is, we'll get past this weekend, and then I'm going to start really looking at all the coaching changes and what kind of offenses, like for the purposes of fantasy, at least. That's going to be the next step. Next step is going to be getting all the leagues in, dynasty and everything in order as far as the leagues that I run and stuff like that, and then start looking at the coaching changes, see what offenses are going to change. Because that's the first thing you need to do to evaluate any existing fantasy team that you got anyhow.
And right now the Patriots are all over the place. They've got Mayo at the head coach, which I love. Oh, by the way, you want to talk about coaching changes, and this is one that may go overlooked. Gerard Mayo's hired Dante Hightower as the linebackers coach. Dante Hightower was our Luke Kuechly for many years. He was the captain on that defense. He's one of the things that made our defense work so well. I think him coming back as a linebackers coach is outstanding. And again, like there's a lot of coaching changes. What's Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury going to look like in Washington? A defensive-minded coach at the head coach?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And the offensive air raider coach at OC.
Yeah,
it'll be that.
I'm interested to see what they do at quarterback as well.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun. Like once the combine starts and everything, it's going to be a lot of fun. I get excited about that, but I've got my process, man.
I'd love to go to the combine one of these years. I really would.
Oh, I would too, man. It's in my hometown, man.
I know.
Gosh, I'd love to get back up there. Man.
All right, everybody. Great. Charlie, it's been a really, really fun season. Been a pleasure getting to know you. Been a pleasure doing this with you. And we are ready, folks. We will see you next season here on Dads with Bacon. Charlie, any last-minute comments you want to say to all your wonderful, adoring fans out there?
Man, appreciate all the love. Appreciate you guys watching for real. As always, I don't bet anything that you can't afford to lose. All right?
Agreed.
I mean, that's just the rule of thumb. But man, out of it, it's been an absolute blast, man, doing this with you. I definitely think we should come out and tell the people, help some, give them some help when we get near the draft and everything, as far as dynasty, redraft, startups, all that stuff.
We're gonna do all that. That is not gonna be until after the combine.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. Cheers. It will not be till after the combine. Really, NFL draft and more mocks and everything else until we get to the combine and then pro days. But the combine for me is that tipping point.
Yep.
You need the combine. You need the metrics. You can have all the interviews to go through, and teams are going to be able to evaluate stronger. The insiders are going to give us some more information, who people are starting to look at, who came out strong. Look at what Darnell Washington did last year. He tested so well at the combine, he ended up being a second-round pick for the Steelers as a tight end, backing up Pat Freiermuth. Anthony Richardson, same thing, tested like a freak. We know he was going to go high to begin with. Made the Colts, but a much easier choice. The combine is the biggest piece. And right before the combine, you know what we have, Charlie? Free agency is going to dictate a lot too.
I love it. I love free agency. I love the legal tampering period, all of that stuff. It's great. I can't wait for it. If you want to win in fantasy,
air quotes, illegal tampering period.
Hey, just remember, if you want to win in fantasy, the research starts next week for next season.
You got that right. Charlie, been an absolute pleasure doing this with you. We'll be back. And of course, Charlie and I, you can find us on our wrestling show, If We Were Creative, along with Big Ben as well. We will be there with all of you talking some pro wrestling.
Oh, we got some stuff to talk about.
I kind of wanted to do an emergency podcast after what we saw at the WrestleMania press conference.
Wife might kill me if I get another one in this week.
That's absolutely insane. We'll see you next week for the If We Were Creative show. Thank you for joining us here on the Sizzlin NFL DFS podcast. We'll see you on the wrestling show, and we'll be back for some draft shows as well. Latest, peoples.